Although I don't know if anyone's in here yet. Let me take a look. But I hope, if you are in here, I hope you're having a good day. Definitely going to be a slow one for us today, it seems like. Let's take a look-see. We have anyone? We have a bot. I mean, every single time the bots, right? You know that they're going to be here every time. And every time I'm going to have to hit them with the ban hammer. What a pain. Think what else? We have... I have a good logo of 401 Games here. So we also have the Twitch as well. It's interesting. If you're watching on Twitch also, hello, thank you for joining me today. It's been a new sort of thing, obviously, for us, doing all of these breaks and whatnot. Always fun, that's for sure. Trying to handle multiple platforms is definitely a new experience for me. So we'll see how that goes. Might not be totally prepared for it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So we're just going to hope and pray for the best here. And my typical experience when it comes to these sorts of things has definitely been more of just being on Twitch. The whole YouTube live thing has been interesting. Most breaks obviously have been taking place on YouTube Live, so that's why we were over there. But Twitch is definitely where I'm more at home, and it's definitely been something that I've been looking forward to getting us over here on Twitch, for sure. So, personally, since I know Twitch is more about gaming, if anyone did want to know what games I typically stream, it's Tekken 7. I'm a big fighting game fan, so I won't promote my own Twitch here. That's not my job. But if you do happen to see me elsewhere on the website, that's probably where you want to see me. But yeah, this is just about it. We're just waiting for a couple breaks to fill here. I know we have a few breaks that only have like 2 spots left. If any of those fire, I've got all of the inventory here, so that will definitely be taken care of. In the event that nothing fills, then we actually are still selling some single box breaks here. And just provide me your order number in the chat, either on Twitch or on YouTube Live, and I will rip open the box for you here, and share it with everyone that happens to come across the stream, and then we'll just basically ship this out as singles, which I think that's a lot easier for just about everybody doing that, but maybe that's just me. Can't wait. Hopefully, with Twitch allows you to do so many cool things, right? So like, I'd love to see us be able to get like affiliate status or something like that, get subscriptions going, get a couple custom emotes would be pretty sick. Certainly, as a platform, Twitch allows you to have a lot more fun. Welcome into the stream. So yeah, right now we don't have a break to fire at the moment. We are just waiting for the breaks to fill. I've got them rolling on the side of the screen. If you have any interest in buying anything that you see on the screen, though, just put your order number in. So I've got the Clearly Authentic, the Archive Signature Series of Active Player and Retired Player in Topps Chrome Black. I've also got a couple single boxes of hockey around here as well. Yeah, I've got the Series 2 hockey and the Peachy Platinum. So all the prices are available on 401games.ca. That's where you would do any of the ordering. But yeah, it's definitely been fun. See if anyone joins us today. I didn't want to spam anyone with emails since there was no break going. I did send out a mass email. 30,000 people are now aware of the breaks. Also, we are planning to put up our break spots on eBay as well. Hopefully that does get exposure up to get these things to fill a little bit more. Just for the fact that the prices that we are offering right now are absolutely nutty, and people need to know about them. Because I see other breaks going, and we're about half the cost right now for some of these things. So it's a little bit weird. Of course, I understand the break culture. You like, it's like going back to your favorite home cooked meal. Sometimes you just stick with what you know, and but we're talking a difference of 50% in some cases. I think that a lot of it here is just a lack of like awareness that we are even doing this now. So we're going to definitely see how everything is. Things going on in sports lately, by the way, absolutely crazy. To week in sports when it comes to just between COVID and records being broken. You know, Seth Curry with becoming the all-time three-point champ over Ray Allen, and he's done it a lot younger than Ray did. That's for damn sure. Only 33 years old, he's already set that record. He's probably going to be able to play another 5, you would think, before retirement. Incredible career that Steph Curry has had. But then you have Sidney Crosby, I think became the 14th player in NHL history to have 400 multi-point games, which I was a little surprised, actually, that number was that low, considering all the great players in the NHL, but I guess it sort of makes sense. You typically make the Hall of Fame where averaging maybe like a little over a point per game. You're pretty much a shoo-in. So I guess it would make sense. There's not too many people that have crossed that barrier of like around 1,300, 1,400 points that would allow you to rack up that many multi-point games. But still, even with like some of the other guys, I guess just on top of my head, obviously Gretzky would be in that list. Lemieux would be in that list for sure. You have to figure Howe would be. I think Yager's in it. But one of the key things with that would be I'm not even sure if Lemieux's in that list, but I think given just the pure amount of points he put up, you would figure he's averaging almost 2 points per game. Didn't play 1,000 games. I think he finished at like 923 games played, but had over 1,700 points or something like that. Absolutely insane. You don't want me to go off on a tangent about Mario Lemieux. We'll be here all day. But then again, I'll probably be here all day regardless, so maybe I should just go off on a tangent about Mario Lemieux. But yeah, just an incredible hockey player. Kind of got lost in the weeds talking about him the last time that we streamed with everyone else. So I think we're going to keep the stream on for probably about an hour today. So 6:45, if it keeps up like this, I'll just drop it. But yeah, if anyone doesn't want, hey, you don't even have to buy anything. If you don't want to buy anything, just let us know. I will sit here and I'll talk sports. That's perfectly fine. We are located at 750 Yonge Street in Toronto, Ontario. So that's pretty much been the thing. You know, the rips and ships, the personalized rips and ships. I'm not here to be like just a salesman or anything here. It's not what we're doing, especially not on the Twitch side of things. It's not what it's about. It's about fielding the community and just enjoying the excitement. And you'll see that in the pricing as well when you go on 401games.ca. That's very much what it is. But otherwise, yeah, it's definitely been a process to this point, get to where we're at, and we're really not making it about the money. We're not really making any money off of these breaks right now. We really do just want to field the community and get everything going with you guys. Unfortunately, today we also just canceled the 2020-21 Panini Prison Break. Now that one, that was half filled. Unfortunately, we got stuck at the. We thought it was going to go, really did. The first 15 spots went pretty quickly, and then it just completely flubbed out. So it was sitting there for a couple weeks there with no one buying in. So today we just decided to nix it. Sent out a large scale email to everyone that was in that break. So you should have received your discount code for your next break purchase, as well as the notification of your refund. So yeah, obviously we're really sorry that happened. That we couldn't get the break to fire. We did really believe that it was going to. It looked like it was going to, and then it just hung. Um, that's kind of been the way that things have been going this week. We're very, very close on quite a few breaks, but we're not going to be able to fire them until they're filled. So I think we're hanging on like 2 spots on a couple breaks right now that we are hoping will fill up some point within the next couple days. And yeah, like I said before, we sent out a mass email as well. So hopefully there's more eyes. Hopefully more people are going to be aware of this thing existing. I think that's the first battle, right? We've definitely received word of people not necessarily wanting us to do well, just because of how ridiculous the pricing is right now. It's definitely threatening to the break scene for sure. Just because of the fact that we've decided that we're not in it for the money. We're into the community right now. Right now, to start, we're definitely just in it for the community building. So we are not making money for Jack. Which ones are close to breaking? I've got 3 spots left in the in the double team random. So 3 spots left. It's a 15 spot break. So 3 boxes of O-Pee-Chee Platinum. If we're hanging on 3, you get 2 teams out of 3 boxes. And I've also got 1 last spot on the 2020-21 Upper Deck Series 2 hockey break. So that is a single box rip. What else? O-Pee-Chee Platinum box number 2's got 2 spots left. So we're very, very close. We're very, very close on a lot of these. We're looking at like 3, 4, 2, 1. Really just looking for a couple more people on some of these breaks, and then we'll be good to go. Also, for the entrance music, you might notice the entrance music was different now. Shout out to my boy Rare. You can find him on SoundCloud, So Rare on SoundCloud. He's a friend of mine, former co-worker here at the store. Very, very talented guy, great guy. If you were going to support anyone, and when it comes to like the music industry, at least from a character aspect, I would say that he is going to be one of like the nicest guys that you'll ever come across in life. And so he makes good music. If you enjoyed the song at the top, I suggest going and just checking out some more of his stuff. Very, very talented and humble guy. So definitely worth checking out. Local here in Toronto as well. I think actually iDubbbz had used his song before in a compilation, which was nice. I talked to him about that before. Just completely blindsided him. If you're not familiar with iDubbbz, that's a very famous YouTuber. Does a lot of sort of like meme stuff. So you know, for the people that aren't into like the meme culture, they're basically like sort of like funny, stupid images or like trends or phrases that catch fire within the internet community. iDubbbz was kind of like a pioneer of that. I know he's kind of fallen off a little bit, but he at one point, like, you know, he was one of the most popular forward-thinking like meme crafters on the internet, if that's a thing. And that was when my coworker's song was used. It was during the apex of that guy's popularity. So it was definitely one of those things that was significant for sure. So, you know, using his music in these breaks, it just feels like only right. He put in a lot of work into this store. He's here for a while, and I'd like to at least give him a shout out in some way. So thanks, man. Thanks for the work that you put in here. Thanks for the friendship, and thanks for making the cool songs. Hope you're doing well. Haven't talked to you in a while. What else is there? NFL. Mostly, I follow the Lions, as you know. That has been I saw the power rankings, and somehow the Athletic put them at 30th. How the Lions are not 32 in your power rankings is beyond me. I do not think you'll find a worse team in football. Like, I don't know. I really don't think there's a worse team in the NFL than the Detroit Lions. I guess some people would say Jaguars, maybe. But at least the Jags kind of have... the Jags and the Texans at least kind of have like some glimmer. They well, maybe not so much the Texans. Actually, the Texans might have some glimmer of hope if Deshaun Watson somehow magically got off on all of those charges, which I doubt he will. But, they have something that they can hang on to. The Jaguars obviously have like a bunch of young talent and Trevor Lawrence and whatnot. What do the Lions have? Lions don't have a damn thing. So, quarterback position, Jared Goff. I mean, Jared Goff wouldn't be the answer regardless. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be a franchise quarterback. I think that he is not the worst starting quarterback in football, actually. He's just playing on a team where no one could thrive. But he's not the answer. Especially he's only there for another year after this one. So even in like the scenario in which Jared Goff actually like returned to form like he was in 2018, I don't see him wanting to stay in Detroit for shit. He's not going to want to stay there. If not just for the fact that team does not give him any tools. I don't see them providing him any good players within the 1 year span. Like the hole that they are in, the rebuild is probably going to take multiple years. And I don't think Jared Goff should want to be there, and I don't think he will want to be there. So he's probably gone after next year. If not, like he'll probably just actually demand a trade at some point next season. If he actually, performs to a level where other teams would want him. And then that kind of leaves the Lions in a little bit of flux because this upcoming offseason doesn't look like there's any good quarterbacks in this draft. Now, they're probably going to end up with the first overall pick. I imagine that they'll select Kayvon Thibodeau, the big defensive end out of Oregon. Guy looks like an absolute bruiser, but again, like this is not a guy that will necessarily change your franchise. They will change your defense, but like a defensive end is not going to put points on the board for you. And that's where the Lions are going to really have a lot of trouble. I think that their starting wide receiver core, I think outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown, not too much to get excited for there. And then, the rest of that offense is kind of pitiful. They've got a good offensive line. If it stays healthy, they could protect a future quarterback, but they're not going to be able to find one in the next year for sure. And so I just don't know. I don't know how I'm still a fan of that team. I don't even know. I must have rocks in my head to continue cheering for the Detroit Lions, unironically. My dad tried to raise me as a Chiefs fan. I do not know why I didn't take him up on that. I had all the Chiefs helmet, played NFL Game Day and old Maddens as the Chiefs, and yet settled on being a Detroit Lions fan once I actually got into football. Probably one of the bigger mistakes of my life, but definitely something that I can't take back. Once you're in the fandom, it's got a grip on you. The amount of pain that I've taken for the Detroit Lions on a Sunday with all the extravagant ways they figure out to lose, I can't just toss that in the trash now. I'm ride or die. Uh, but I am definitely not tuning into the television very much these days when it comes to them. Um, this year finally broke me. I had all of that positivity coming, but when you actually watch the games, there's not really anything to get excited about. Like, Dan Campbell seems like a very likable guy. I very much believe that the players want to be playing for him, but I don't think for 2 seconds when I watch the games that they're a well coached team. I think they have fire. I think they have a lot of passion. They don't give up, which is something the Lions used to do, for sure. So it's a positive sign. But when it comes to like just the general strategic plays of the sport, the play calling has been a little bit suspect. It only got worse once Dan Campbell took over play calling duties from Anthony Lynn. Don't think he should have done that. Definitely doesn't seem like he should have done that now. And I don't know how he'll bridge that either, that relationship. When you take play calling duties out of your offensive coordinator's hand, I don't know how you repair that relationship. Especially when you come out and you do worse than him when it comes to play calling. If you're going to do that, you better be better than the guy you're replacing. Otherwise, you're just going to look like a jerk. And that's kind of how it appears to me at this point. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on there in Detroit, because I don't think it's going to be anything that great. Meanwhile, the team that I should have cheered for growing up, the Kansas City Chiefs, they've really turned it around. I think they won their 5th straight game. You can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, and that's just about the end of it, right? Like, looked a little bit spotty to start the year, but the talent's undeniable. Anyone that was trying to say the first 3 years of his career were a fluke is just out of their minds. You can't fluke your way into the performances that he's had, and you certainly don't fluke your way to 3 consecutive season-breaking sort of seasons. What is it? 3 AFC championships in a row, Super Bowl win, 2 Super Bowl appearances. Right, his whole career is just being in that situation. That you're looking at a guy that basically, in many ways, is mirroring Tom Brady's career to start. Just always seems to be in that Super Bowl picture, and you can't keep him down forever. So I think the Chiefs probably. I know a lot of people are still saying that the Bucks are ahead of them, and who's the other team? The Packers. Chips are down. I think the only team that I would put above the Kansas City Chiefs are probably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady is just the greatest of all time. That too is just a fact. That is not an opinion anymore. Tom Brady's the best to ever do it. No one's ever come close. Likely no one ever will come close. And his team still looks to be in prime form. So Bucks are probably the favorite. I'd probably have Chiefs number 2. Then some combination of Cardinals and Packers behind them. I just have a hard time as an NFC North fan, watching the Lions a lot. I see a lot of the Green Bay Packers. I see a lot of what they do in the divisions, in the divisional games. And I don't know, they've always been the team that I've disliked the most, given their sheer dominance in the division. But every time I see them, I see a very flawed team. I think they rely very heavily on Aaron Rodgers, and they've always have. And in big matchups, it really does seem like most of that team does tend to fold, with the exception of Rodgers. I just want to see how they. I need to see how they look in the playoffs this year, because that's a team that always seems to come out flat. They won in 2009, and then ever since then, people have put them as an overwhelming favorite, and they've never really shown up. Only Rodgers has shown up. And I'm also curious to see what actually happens there too. We got it seems to have like faded in the background a bit, the whole Aaron Rodgers fiasco. But you got to figure that it's not something that Rodgers himself has forgotten, and I wonder if he would actually still want to be in Green Bay after all of this. The team is playing well. Teams are playing extraordinarily well. But is that enough to want to stay when you've had all of those other issues plaguing you? Probably not, I would imagine. It's going to be interesting to see how all of that goes. Obviously, we're still here on Twitch and on YouTube Live. Still doesn't seem like I've got anyone that really wants to come in today. It's fair enough. I understand. It's a Wednesday. Not exactly something that's like, hip and happening and you want to do that. I get it. I definitely get it. So we're just going to play it by ear here. Continue to do it. We are about 40 minutes into the stream. So around, I'd say around 6:30, 6:35. If it keeps up like this, then we will just end the stream. Give me one moment. Got a call here. Sorry about that. We are back. Just had a call there that I had to take. So, hope you enjoyed that baller song yet again. Love it. It's fire. But yeah, no. Where was I? Oh yeah, the Packers, right? So yeah, I need to see how they perform in the playoffs. When we get to the NBA season, I don't know. I've really checked out when it comes to basketball this year. I know there's been a lot going on. Seth Curry, obviously amazing, as I mentioned earlier in the stream. But something about basketball this year just doesn't seem to resonate with me, and I get that. I'm getting the feeling here, even like in the city of Toronto, interacting with people, like just even a year ago, people would not shut up about the Toronto Raptors in the NBA. Now they definitely seem to be like more of an afterthought, and that's not even to say anything about the quality of the team. I don't think it actually has anything to do with the quality of the team. Like it does seem to be a general sort of sentiment that I have been seeing, at least anecdotally. You know, I think just that basketball, for whatever reason, whether it's just the way that it's being marketed or just the COVID burnout or whatever it is. I don't think it's landing with the fans as much, or at least it's not landing with the fans in the way that it typically does. I could be wrong. But I know that, like, I think the ratings were. I think the ratings for the NBA are up from last year, which isn't saying too much because last year was horrific for them. But they're not nearly what they once were even now. I think they're averaging like around like 1.5. No, not even 1.5 million people a game. They're averaging like 1.3. I mean, still strong numbers, and it's not like anyone's not going to get their max contract or anything like that. But you kind of get the feeling that the league is just it's just stagnant. It's just flat. Maybe part of it too is that it's just you're seeing the same old song and dance every time, right? Like you get this overarching feeling like, are you really going to bet against LeBron James in the clutch? Are you really going to bet against the Golden State Warriors now that they're back? Are you really going to bet against the Brooklyn Nets? You know, Milwaukee last year was like a pleasant surprise. You know, everyone wanted to see Giannis win that championship, but at the end of the day, like we're usually talking the same 4 or 5 teams are relevant in the NBA conversation, and everyone else is just there. And I do think that that's starting to wear on people, especially when you consider the fact that like it's not like there's a bunch of movement going on in the NBA in terms of power shifting. It's typically the same players, right? Like we're not sitting here and anticipating, the Detroit Pistons or the Orlando Magic becoming great teams, or like, the Minnesota Timberwolves or whatever. Like typically these teams, they seem to be set in stone, right? Like when you look at the standings in the NBA, I would say that it's relatively consistent who's going to make the playoffs. Like if you're looking at the East, you can almost always expect, like if I go back to 2000, let's say 2008 up until now, the top 8 teams in the East have always been some sort of combination of Cleveland, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Boston, Washington, Philadelphia, Toronto. Like those have always been like your playoff teams, give or take. Charlotte always on the bubble because that's always where they've been, and then like there's not much. Maybe you swap out one team, like Indiana used to be in that picture in 2008, and instead now it's like maybe let's say Charlotte's in that position. But for the most part, there's no hope for a lot of teams in the NBA. It seems like to me. I think that story is definitely different in other sports. I mean, the NFL obviously has the Detroit Lions as a team that has no hope. That one's just their own stupid decisions. I suppose too. That's usually just incompetence, as opposed to the problem that I think you have in the NBA. This is very star driven, and you can win a championship on the backs of 2 players. Because, you have total control of the offense in basketball, unlike any other sport. So you have 2 guys that can dominate, hold on the ball, about 80% of the offensive snaps, or whatever you want to call them. And that's all that really matters. That's how you win. But In a sport like baseball, there's a lot of variables. One player can only do so much. That's why Mike Trout's only made the playoffs the one time, despite probably being a top 5 player in the history of the game. Same thing with hockey. You only put Sidney Crosby out there maximum out there. Maybe you can get him out there 23, 24 minutes. There's 60 minutes in a hockey game, right? It's basically he's there for 1/3 of the time. So a lot of the outcome is not in his hands. That's most sports except for basketball. And when you have a game that is driven in that sort of manner, where it's very star focused, and the stars have all of the power, they definitely seem to want to congregate in the same usual cities, right? Like even I always looked at like the Indiana Pacers as being the one team that like consistently broke the mold. But even then, when you look at them, right, like they're not a team that attracts people. What they do is they just do very good job developing players in house, and then those players eventually leave or whatever. Like Paul George, for example. The destination cities in the NBA have a lot more power in that league than any other, just because of the nature of how it is. It's a little bit different. I think baseball, there's a lot more variety. You'll see players like a Christian Yelich, for example, great example of a difference between typical NBA and versus MLB. Like Christian Yelich is locked up long term in Milwaukee. Giannis did the same thing, granted in basketball in the same city, but Giannis has even gone out and said that he's an outlier going against the trend. But something in baseball, sticking with a franchise, is not uncommon, right? Like it's one of those things. Like Freddie Freeman's probably going to want to stay in Atlanta. It's not the biggest market. He'd probably be, if he went to L.A. or New York or Boston, he'd be probably one of the biggest names in all of baseball when it comes from a marketing perspective. But he's probably going to want to stay in Atlanta, I'd figure. Or like, as I said, Christian Yelich locking up in Milwaukee. You've had a couple guys here in Toronto, which, like, again, I can't see the Vladdy Jr. going anywhere else in his career. He's probably going to want to stay here, I imagine. And if that does end up happening too, this is not a huge baseball city. It's a big market, biggest market in Canada, but like it's not exactly where I think you'd want to be necessarily if you're a player of that caliber, and we're just chasing after fame and fortune. Miguel Cabrera being locked up in Detroit with the Tigers, so on and so forth, right? Like the market in other sports doesn't seem to be as important. Sidney Crosby in Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh's a small market town, but Crosby locked up his entire career there. Connor McDavid in Edmonton. The list goes on, basically in every other sport. But in basketball, swapping jerseys just seems like no different than like buying a new toothbrush or swapping your toothbrush out for another one. No big deal, not a life-changing decision. That's how it feels when it comes to these players. There's lots of trades that get demanded. Lots of people just leaving free agency. And if you can upgrade to go to live in New York or go to live in LA or go to live in Miami, basically almost all of these guys take that. And then they bring their friends. So I do think it's very much been fatiguing for a lot of people. And that's to go in combination with the fact that a lot of people just cut the cord during the pandemic as well. Because why wouldn't you, in a lot of ways? It's huge expense considering that a lot of things can be pilfered essentially from the internet these days. Netflix pretty much covers everything that cable does, especially if you combine it with some other services like maybe Paramount Plus or Hulu or whatever you have, Amazon Prime or whatever it is. Well, there's just a lot of options to basically cover the entertainment you'd have on cable without having to pay the cable prices. So I think that's also hurt as well. Just and on top of that, I just think there's a general fatigue. There's just a general fatigue with a lot of things that you're starting to see with people. I think people's ability to care about what they deem to be kind of trivial things is definitely waning. I think that given the state that we're in right now, maybe as a global society, everything that's been dealt with and all of the pressures that people are feeling right now with the inflation and then the foreign policy headaches, and you're always bombarded with negative news these days. That a lot of people are just choosing to opt out and check out of anything that might give them any modicum of stress. So might be a little bit of that happening as well. It's really hard to say. But yeah, for me personally, basketball's the one that just hasn't really gripped me this year. I can't put my finger on it. Just hasn't had much interest. I haven't had much interest in following the games. Still following the players, still cheering for my team, quote unquote. But definitely not with the same enthusiasm. It's just not calling for me. Hockey's been good this year though. I've been enjoying that, particularly with these guys. Different team, totally different team. You definitely should watch them if you get the opportunity to do it. Traditionally, you think of the Penguins, you think offensive sort of powerhouse, but this go around they seem to be a lot more defensive. Tristan Jarry's done a great job goaltending net. Might be a Vezina candidate actually, which is very high praise for me because God knows there's a lot of Penguins fans, myself included, that were frustrated with his playoff performance last year and were kind of expecting the worst. Definitely has been anything but that so far this year. Outstanding from him. I think they're on a 5-game win streak, and most of it just low-scoring games. Low-scoring games that they are itching out and getting good goaltending and good defense. It's a total 180 from where they were before. We're coming up on the 6:30 mark. I think I'm going to end the stream there. Uh, Seems like a good time to end it, to be honest. Otherwise, I'll just be talking everyone's ear off. And I could do that, but I don't know how much more you guys want to sit through it. I do want to just give everyone a reminder: 401games.ca. Please check out the breaks. If you do that, we've got a couple breaks. They're so close to selling out. We just need one or two people to come in, buy those spots. We'll be able to do a break tomorrow. Please do it. Please. We are so close. It's going to be a lot of fun, I promise. We haven't had anyone complain yet about the breaks. The great prices. You're just going to enjoy it. We have great customers too. The community, when there is a break running, the people are flooding through the chat. They're just so nice. They're so kind, so gracious. And they really just want to see everyone win, essentially. So I implore you to check it out. As for this, if you happen to drop by the stream here, see the VOD, I'm happy that you came by. I really do appreciate it. It's a lot of fun to host these, even when there's no one around, and I just get to talk my ear off or not talk my ear off, talk my butt off for a good hour. Still fun. More fun than looking in a spreadsheet, at least. So, thanks for allowing this to be possible. I really do appreciate it. I hope I'll see you guys tomorrow with a break. If not, I will be back at around the same time, seeing if anyone wants to do a couple live breaks or not. And if not, cool. I'll just get to sit and chat about some more random sports things for another hour. And that's always fun, too. So with that, I hope you guys have a great night. I always have fun doing this. And we'll see you next time here at 401 Games on YouTube Live or 401 Sports Cards on Twitch. Take care.